and welcome to the Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show 2026. Every day in classrooms all across our community, moments of inspiration, challenge, and growth are happening, often behind closed doors. This show emphasizes the transformative power of education and the dedication of educators. There's a saying that a good education can change anyone, but a good teacher can change everything. Today, we shine the spotlight on educators who demonstrate this truth every day, rising to the occasion to meet the needs of our students with compassion and creativity. Their work changes lives, and today we recognize their outstanding commitment. Get ready to meet the remarkable individuals named Teacher of the Year for their respective schools. And welcome to our Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show. So excited at this time to welcome to our Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show the wonderful, the marvelous, magnificent Miss Noelle Walczak, who's the awesome Teacher of the Year at Savannah Ridge Elementary School. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
She's brought along with her the wonderful principal there, the voice, the singer, Miss Ebony Jarrett. Miss Jarrett, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
We are so excited to have this opportunity to speak with the Teacher of the Years from each of our schools because it gives us an opportunity to briefly introduce our viewing audience to some of the wonderful professionals that we have working with students each and every day. With that being said, I'm going to ask both of you if you would briefly introduce yourself to our viewing audience.
Okay, so my name is Noelle Walczak. I've been in education for over 20 years and have taught everything from VPK through 5th grade, except for 4th grade. This is my 7th year at Savannah Ridge Elementary, and I love my school.
Awesome, awesome. Miss Jarrett?
Yes, I have been in education for 23 years now. Best job ever. I spent 10 years in the classroom as an English and reading teacher, all levels, and I've been an administrator now for 13 years. I've been at Savannah Ridge for a year.
A year, right at a year,
yes, right at a year.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Ms. Walczak, before we go any further, tell me, what do you make of this honor of being selected by your peers as their Teacher of the Year?
I was surprised and felt very honored. I mean, when your peers think you're doing well and give you that accolade, vote on you for that, it does something to my heart. And so it's a huge honor to represent my school as Teacher of the Year.
Cool, cool. So, have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
I have, yes. I didn't know exactly what I wanted, what area. I remember when I was little and my cousins and friends would come over, we would play school and I'd make them do spelling tests and things like that. When I was in high school, I thought I was going to go more towards music education, but I decided on elementary education, and that's where I love.
So when you think about the 20 years that you have been an educator, do you think that there is a teacher or a group of teachers that you may pattern yourself or influence how you work with students each and every day?
Well, I love the primary grades, and those grade levels are the foundations of, the foundation of all the rest. And so I want to try to be that teacher that instills those strong foundations for the kids and those skills that they will need to last a lifetime.
So tell me this, what's your most enjoyable part of teaching?
Being with the kids and making relationships with them, building those relationships with them. I was so excited this morning to come in and, back from break and everything and just welcome them in. But making those connections with kids so they know that they have a safe adult that cares about them and loves them, that's huge for me. That's something that I always want every student walking out of my classroom knowing that Mrs. Walczak loved me, cared for me, and I believe that when they feel that way, that they'll be able to learn even more.
Yeah, today was a wonderful day to see all the smiling faces come back. Yeah, Miss Jarrett, tell me, You have an opportunity to watch that magic happen in that classroom every day. Share with me, if I were to visit and you say, let's go to Ms. Walczak's room, what would I see, hear, feel, experience?
Oh my goodness, it's so much fun. I go in her classroom and get lost. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do a quick pop in, and then I look and all this time has passed. She's challenging the students, they're asking questions, they're supporting one another, they're cheering for one another. One of my favorite memories is when we walked in to honor her because she was Teacher of the Year, just to see how excited her students were for her, and they're all, yay, Miss Walczak, congratulations. Someone even said, we're proud of you, and they gave her like a big hug. So that's just indicative of her every day, though. They're challenging each other, enjoying each other's company. It was a great visit for sure.
Let's keep going, Ms. Jarrett. Describe Ms. Walczak for me with 3 adjectives, and once you decide the 3, yes, only 3, only 3, tell us why you've chosen those 3.
Okay, I'm definitely going to say nurturing, high expectations, and a positive attitude. And she's nurturing not only to the students in her classroom, but to her colleagues as well. Noelle is she's quiet. She's like that quiet force that keeps everything moving. But so many teachers come to me and share just how appreciative they are of her leadership and her guidance and how welcoming she's been to them whenever they need anything. So definitely nurturing to students and colleagues. High expectations. They are working in there. The math, English, reading, they're working hard. She knows that her students can do it and she pushes them to reach that level. And then positive, she's always positive, no matter what we're dealing with. And we all know days can get hard, but she's positive, she has a smile on her face, and she's very encouraging to everyone. So we appreciate that.
So, Ms. Walczak, there are many things happening in the world that affect our wonderful profession. But as an educator, for education, what are you most hopeful for?
I think I'm hopeful for a little bit of a change in people wanting to come into the profession and really embracing it. I mean, teachers are important. I tell my kids, I share with my kids and with everybody, like there would be no other professions if we didn't have teachers.
Exactly.
And so, you know, it's super important for the whole world. And I think that, you know, I hope that we continue to get more good quality people in that really want to make a difference in young people's lives.
So what gives you the greatest career satisfaction?
I think seeing those kids actually learn, and when they're making mistakes, I always say it's okay, but then when they get it, to see the excitement on their face, I think a lot of teachers probably feel that way, but it's so exciting. And then and like Ms. Jarrett was saying, like we cheer for each other in our classroom, and you know the kids are proud of each other as well, and we share those successes. And so I think that's a huge thing to see. I love that.
So Ms. Jarrett, what makes Ms. Walczak the perfect candidate for Teacher of the Year?
She's the teacher that everyone wants their child to have. That teacher who's going to push them, who's going to be encouraging, she's going to be positive, she's going to have great communication with you, you're going to know exactly what's going on in your classroom. She's the teacher you want for your own child.
Let's have some fun, Ms. Walczak. Is that okay?
Sure.
I call it my speed round, okay?
Okay.
I'll throw something out. You give me your first response.
Okay.
Favorite food?
Seafood,
Favorite restaurant?
the melting pot,
Favorite movie?
The Little Mermaid. I love it. It's my favorite.
That's okay.
Ever
That's
since
okay.
I got
Somebody's
it.
got to love it.
I
Somebody's got to
do.
love it. Favorite sports team?
Florida Gators. Go Gators.
Go Gators. Okay. Favorite song?
I don't really have a favorite song. I like many different types of music. I don't really have a favorite.
You know, I knew you would stumble over that one when you said you thought about music education.
Yeah.
We musicians have so
It's
much
so
music
many.
going on in our head.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Yes.
choose. Okay, I'll let you slide
Okay,
on that
thanks,
one. So, a favorite quote or motivational saying?
My go-tos that run through my head often. our 2 Bible verses. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength, Philippians 4:13. And then there's another one that talks about work with your whole heart as you're working for the Lord and not for man. And so when those times get tough, I can think about those, and that's what replays my mind a lot. So
Yeah. Like Jeremiah 29:11. I know the plans I have. Okay, I'll stop. It's your interview, right?
That's right. Plans to prosper.
So I ask you to bring with you a prop that kind of defines you, describes you as an educator. Would you mind sharing that with us at this time?
Sure. So I know this is a picture of something on my wall here. I couldn't bring it with me, but I have had this for several years on my wall. It's called, it says, "This is our happy place." And I do this at the beginning of the year. We do this little book, Our Class is a Family, and we talk about how to treat each other and how when they step into my classroom, I want them to feel loved. I want them to feel safe. And that not only comes from me, but from each other. And so we even referred to it today, coming back from break. This is something that I want every student coming into my classroom to feel like that joy and that peace and that happiness. I do have high expectations, like Ms. Jarrett said, but I like to say that I do it with like a firm but loving, positive way. So I want kids to come into my classroom and be happy and be positive. And it's okay if they're having a sad day. We'll lift you up throughout the day, So that's kind of my prop that I brought today.
Great. This is our happy place.
That's right.
So, Ms. Jarrett, is there anything else that you would like to share about the wonderful Ms. Noelle Walzak that you have not shared already?
This lady does everything at school. She's involved with so many committees. She's always looking at what is best for the school. She is a part of so many different committees, and she gives so much to Savannah Ridge. And I just wanted to say thank you,
thank
Noelle,
you.
because we really appreciate you, and we're so honored to cheer you on as our Teacher of the Year.
So let's wrap it up. I'm the genie, and I have the power to grant you one wish for education. What would your one wish be and why?
I think that what would be fabulous that I think all teachers would probably love is to have a little bit more support in the classroom. We have a lot of diverse learners, whether it's English second language or ESC students, and so it would be wonderful to have somebody a little bit more full-time in the classroom to help out, so to meet those needs of every
All
single
students.
child. That's what we all want to do. But it is challenging sometimes to do that with all the different learners. And so it would be nice to have maybe a little bit more support. That would be a nice little thing.
Cool. Ms. Jarrett, Ms. Walzak, thank you both for joining us, and congratulations
Thank
on your
you.
selection as Teacher of the Year.
Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Pleasure to welcome to our Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show the awesome Miss Chloe Corley, who is the wonderful Teacher of the Year at Village Green. Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
She's brought along my boss, a good friend, the proud principal at Village Green, Andrea Popwell. Pop, welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. Perry. Glad to be here as well.
It is a pleasure for us to have this chance to speak with both of you, and it gives us a chance to introduce the teachers, some of our teachers, to our viewing audience that tune in on a regular basis, and let them know who's in charge, who's working with their wonderful students, well, who's the magic behind this A-rated school district. So with that, I'm going to ask you to briefly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Okay. So my name is Chloe Corley, and I am a product of St. Lucie County. I was raised here. I went to Morningside Elementary, Dan McCarty Middle School, Port St. Lucie High School, and then ended up at Indian River State College. I am the proud mom of 3 girls that also attend St. Lucie County Schools. I have one at Palm Point, one at Forest Grove, and one with me at Village Green. And I am delighted to be here.
Great, great, great. And it's always great when we have an opportunity to say, that's one of the homegrowns that's here working with us. Ms. Popwell, your chance.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm Andrea Popwell, very proud principal of Village Green Elementary. I've been in education for over 30 years. I spent 6 years at Port St. Lucie High School in various roles, and I was at St. Lucie West Centennial High School for 8 years as an assistant principal, 10 years as principal, and now I'm at my first year as principal at Village Green Elementary.
Again, to both of you, welcome to the show. So, Ms. Corley, tell me, what do you make of the honor of being selected by your peers as their Teacher of the Year?
I was shocked, surprised, and very humbled. I don't like the spotlight like that, so I felt nervous at first. Like, what does this entail? What does this mean? But I felt very honored that my peers chose me and thought so highly of me to nominate me for this recognition.
Well, let me just tell you right now, for a few more minutes, the spotlight's on you, okay? So tell me, have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Good question. So when I was young, I was obsessed with baby dolls. And I would line them up, and I had a little chalkboard, and I would play teacher for hours. I wanted to be a teacher. When I was in 5th grade, we did like a time capsule. I wrote that. Time passed, and someone in my family convinced me that teaching was just not it. You're not going to make any money. You know, it's just not for you. You're so bright. You need to do something else with your life. So I kind of went down a different road, and I realized that at every stop sign I was at every job I had, the most joy that I had was working with children. So every time I got a new job, I was like, oh, I'm working with kids again. Oh, I'm working with kids again. I ended up at the YMCA as a director there, and they closed our sports world. And my friend was like, you should sub. And I was like, me? Why should I do that? And I did. I took the opportunity, and I started subbing, and I was like, to that special person in my life. This is what I was meant to do. Like, this is, my whole life changed. I enjoy going to work. I get excited to go to work. So I would say since I was a young girl, and then when I became an adult, I was like, this is what I want to do.
So as you reflect on coming home, let's call it coming
Yes.
home, do you think that you pattern yourself after a teacher that you might have had, or a group of teachers, or someone that influenced you?
Yes. So actually, when I was filling out the paperwork for this, I named him. He is a Port St. Lucie High School teacher. He's my Mr. Feeney. His name was Mr. Erickson. He taught me math, and I'm terrible at math. And I hated going to his class, and I was probably not the best student in his class, and I'm not sure that he looked forward to me being there. But I asked for help. And even though I had this experience with him that I didn't want to be there, and I made it known I didn't want to be there, he never gave up on me. He tutored me after school for free. He always gave me extra homework, which I didn't like, but it helped me. And he was that person that I try to model myself after, because he never gave up on me. Even though I wasn't the best student in his class, even though, you know, I could have been better behaviorally, he never gave up on me. And that's what I want to bring to my classroom. I want to be that person.
So, Ms. Popwell, I want to visit Ms. Corley's class. I pop into Village Green. You say, come on, Doc, let's go. What would I see, feel, hear, experience once we walked into the class?
You'll definitely see students engage in learning. Ms. Corley is very innovative. She's a very caring teacher. You'll see kids taking risks. They do a lot of problem solving in her class. And she's just very fun to be around. She's, I just laughed talking to her. She just has a great personality. And you can tell she has great relationships with her kids as well.
So describe her for me using 3 adjectives. Tell me why you've chosen those 3 as well.
She is authentic. She's always very true to herself, regardless of what the circumstance is. She's passionate. She's a very passionate and caring teacher, as I alluded to earlier, because she's always the one that advocates for her students. She is a big advocate for all kids. She often tells the story of, wanting to be that teacher for her students that her role model was for her, and not giving up on her kids. So she really has that tenacity and that mindset of, I'm going to get through to this child, I'm going to help them regardless of the cost.
So, one more?
Oh, that was only two, you're
Yes,
right.
yes, yes.
No, I said three. I said caring, innovative,
Okay,
and passionate.
Okay, all right, I'll take that.
And
I'll take
passionate,
that.
thank you.
So, Ms. Corley, there are a lot of changes and a lot of challenges occurring in the world that affect education. What do you think is one of the greatest challenges facing education, and why?
I really think it's social media. I teach 5th grade, so you would think that not a lot of my students have social media, and you would think wrong. A lot of our students have social media, and they are not mature enough to understand how to navigate it or how to use it. So they're coming up against real world problems and conflicts and things that are going on, and they're not mature enough and don't have the know-how to deal with that, or to how to navigate it. And they're bringing that into the classroom. So it's really hard to try to navigate trying to figure out what's my role, what's not my role, how do I involve myself in this, how do I teach the kids, what's appropriate for school and what's not appropriate for school. And when you're trying to climb an endless wall of social media, it's nearly impossible. But I just have to keep, digging at it.
Tell me, what gives you the greatest career satisfaction daily?
That is the light bulb. When you are working with a student who is, I can't do it, it's too hard, I don't understand, and you keep pouring into them, you can do it, you have the ability, you are capable, and they have that self-doubt, and you finally break through to them, even if it's something so small, and they just light up like, I got it, I understand now, I can do this. That is what keeps me coming to school every day, the little light bulb moments.
So, Ms. Potwell, what makes Ms. Corley the perfect candidate for Teacher of the Year?
Ms. Corley goes above and beyond. If she's not looking at data, she's meeting with parents, she's calling parents. She's involved in so many things in school. She's 5th grade team lead. She's involved with SAC, faculty council, Boo Bash. I had the honor of her scaring the crap out of me when we had Boo Bash. She's just an all-around great teacher, great person, and it is a joy to have her on campus.
So, Ms. Corley, I asked you to bring along a prompt with you that kind of describes you as an educator. Share with us your prop at this time.
Okay, so I know it said a prop.
Yeah. But just like an elementary teacher.
But this is filled. This is my prop.
Okay.
So
okay.
I told you that I'm St. Lucie County born and bred.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided to bring along my 5th grade graduation picture. This is me from graduating from Morningside. Shout out to Miss Pezos. She was my 5th grade teacher.
Shout out.
And then I have my
Port St. Lucie High School diploma.
Okay. Yes, Port St. Lucie High School.
Who was your principal?
Mr. Davis
Okay.
was my principal.
Okay,
Funny
Terry
is,
Davis.
and when I started at Village Green, he was the principal at Village Green.
Oh,
And then,
Very cool.
Yeah.
And I was at Port St. Lucie
Yes.
when she was at Port St. Lucie and didn't know it.
Yeah.
oh wow.
Yeah.
and then I rounded it out with my
Bachelor of Science from
Yes.
diploma from
Yep.
Indiana
And-
River State College.
Indiana River State College. And the final thing that I have in my bag of tricks is the most important. This is a picture of myself, my husband, my 3 kids, and my grandmother. Without her, I would not be who I am
Oh
today.
wow. Thanks,
So-
Grandma. Look in the camera. Tell Grandma thanks.
Thank you, Grandma. Yes, so these are my props. This is what my life work is all about. This is what my goals and my aspirations always tie back to.
Okay, so let's wrap it up. I'm the genie and I have the power to grant you one wish for education. What would your wish be?
My wish would be that every student, when they step on a school campus, feels loved, valued, and cared about. Because that is, without that, you can't have anything else.
I like to end it by saying if there were no students, there'll be no need for the teacher. Yeah. Ms. Potwell, Ms. Corley, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
joining us, and congratulations on being Village Green's Teacher of the Year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Perry.
You're most welcome.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
We are so excited at this time to welcome all the way from Morningside Elementary, Miss Brittany LaChance, the wonderful Teacher of the Year. Welcome.
Thank you.
She's brought along the dynamic and proud principal there, Miss Valerie Foreman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're excited to have this opportunity to speak with principals and the Teachers of the Year because it lets us introduce just a few of our wonderful colleagues to our regular viewers. With that said, Ms. LaChance, would you please briefly introduce yourself to our visitors?
My name is Britt LaChance. I teach at Morningside Elementary. This is my 13th year teaching. I am a product of St. Lucie Public Schools, and I also attended Indian River State College and Florida Atlantic University.
So what school did you graduate from?
Port St. Lucie High School.
Port St. Lucie. You know what? You're the third person that graduated from Port. Here's the cool part about it. We have a promise is a promise,
Yes.
and we are always excited when homegrown comes back to work with us. So thank you for doing that. Ms. Foreman?
Hi, my name is Valerie Foreman. I am the proud principal of Morningside Elementary. I've been an administrator with St. Lucie Public Schools for 8 years, and this is my third year as the proud principal at Morningside.
So, Ms. LaChance, tell me, what do you make of the honor of being selected as Teacher of the Year by your peers at Morningside?
Morningside is the best school, and the teachers there are amazing. So for them to select me is just an incredible honor.
Yeah, I can understand that. So, have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Oh, as long as I can remember, but it solidified when I was about 10 and I was at summer camp and I would help the little kids learn to use like the recess equipment outside, and they would have those little light bulb moments when they could jump rope or whatever little thing I was helping the little kids with, and I was like, yeah, this is cool, this is what I'm gonna do.
So when you reflect back on your time as an educator, do you think that there was a teacher or a group of teachers that influenced the way you work today?
Oh, absolutely. I had several amazing teachers, but around that same age group, I entered into the gifted program at Weatherby Elementary, and Miss Huter was my gifted teacher for 4th and 5th grade, and she just did such different things, and she really inspired me to become a teacher.
Yeah, let's give a shout out to Judy Huter. Yes, great job. So tell me, what is the most enjoyable part of teaching for you?
The most enjoyable part is getting kids excited about learning. When they are fired up and I'm fired up about the same topic and we're all just passionate about it, I love it. For example, one thing we did this year is we finished reading The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, and we held this whole court case where we had it was just a court case where they were trying to decide if one of the characters was innocent or guilty, and the kids were just so fired up about it. At the end, I had to take a step back and say, hey guys, he wasn't really on trial. Like, you just had a book discussion. and they were like, oh, they totally forgot they were learning. They were just having so much fun and so excited about reading books.
Awesome, awesome. So, Ms. Foreman, you have the opportunity to see Ms. LaChance in action every day. I'm visiting. What would I see, hear, and or feel when I walked into her room?
First of all, when you walk into her room, you're transformed into a learning field. She has a sports theme, and you're transformed into a learning field where there is no finish line, where there is no winner and loser, but rather we're all on the same team working together. So there's a lot of collaboration happening, and then there's a lot of productive dialogue where they're able to really stake claims and defend their claims, but do it in a way in which they're able to interact with regulation.
Describe her for me using 3 adjectives and tell me why you've chosen those 3.
First of all, I'm going to go innovator. She's always, trying to think outside the box and design new ways for students to learn, not just within her own classroom, but within our school. Another adjective, let's go passionate. So she is passionate about anything that she even lays her finger on. So she's passionate about the gifted and talented education. She's passionate about the Florida Everglades, and with that, she really does champion our Everglades Gold School status. She runs that. She this year we became a Guy Harvey school, and so she's now dabbled in that. Anything that you bring to her and like, hey, I think that she runs with it. And then a third adjective would just be very nurturing. In gifted and talented education, it's not just about being smart or intelligent, but it's really about finding those little nuances and being able to build upon them with their students.
So, Ms. LaChance, when we think about education in totality, we know that we're affected by things that happen everywhere. What do you think is one of the greatest challenges facing education today?
One of the challenges is technology. Kids are so used to that instant gratification and to being able to solve their problem right away. So sometimes they struggle with those critical thinking skills and those creative problem solving skills because they're used to just solving their problems quickly. So we have to use that as an opportunity to put things in place where we help them to develop those skills. And then also we have to build opportunities for them to become familiar with the technology for those students who aren't, because they have to be able to use those tools to be successful in the future.
So I'm the genie and I have the power to grant you one wish to help make education the best that it possibly can be. What's your one wish and why?
Just unlimited differentiation for every kid to have exactly what they need to get where they want to go.
Cool, cool, cool. So, Ms. Foreman, tell me, what makes Ms. LaChance the perfect candidate for Teacher of the Year?
She is the genie. And I mean that wholeheartedly, in that she embodies what is beautiful about teaching. She sees a child as an opportunity to grant this child's future of infinite wishes, and she doesn't just think about her kids in the gifted and talented education. I mean, she's doing PDs with the teachers in our school and really helping everybody to see that. And when she comes into planning, we face many challenges in education, but she doesn't let those things stumble her. She lets those things become opportunities for everyone.
So, Ms. LaChance, I asked you to bring a prop with you that kind of describes you as an educator and your work every day. Would you please share with our viewing audience at this time?
Okay, so I brought our Everglades champion coin for our school. This was the first year that we've got it. My friend and I we just kicked it off. 2 of us got trained. We didn't really know what it was, but when we went to the training, we were like, this is cool. Kids need to know about this. And now our students are passionate about Everglades conservation, and it's opened their eyes to different career opportunities they might have never considered through learning about the Everglades. And then this other one I have, this is my old Odyssey of the Mind team. I coach Odyssey of the Mind. Morningside has a reputation for being very successful at Odyssey of the Mind.
Did we say very?
Very successful at Odyssey of the Mind. But this team got 2nd place. But they won this really special award for creativity, and that's what it's all about, helping them to be critical and creative thinkers, even if they don't win. It's not always about the medal that goes around your neck, it's about the skills and the opportunities that they got because of participating in this program.
So, Ms. Foreman, is there anything else that you want to share about Ms. LaChance that we haven't spoken about?
Miss LaChance is very humble, and she doesn't often brag about the things that she does, but I often see her having these little pep talks with kids in the hallway. And again, not always her kids, but just trying to help kids to see that you don't have to fit in a certain box, in a certain mold, and that those career opportunities that she just spoke of are limitless, and that's what she sets students up for.
So let's wrap it up. When will you know that you are a success?
I don't think success is a bar that you can just hit and you're there. Success is growing and learning. So I'm already successful because I'm always growing and learning, and I'm going to continue to be successful because I'm going to keep growing and learning.
I knew I'd get that answer from you. I knew. Ms. Foreman, Ms. LaChance, thank you so very much for joining us on the show, and congratulations on being Morningside's Teacher of the Year.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Pleased to welcome from Weatherby Elementary School, Miss Michelle Baker, who is the wonderful Teacher of the Year there. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
She's brought along with her the outstanding principal there, Miss Heather Ricksecker. Welcome.
Thank you.
Ladies, it is a wonderful opportunity to speak with you about your selection as Teacher of the Year. But before we do that, we have many viewers that tune in to our shows all the time. Would you briefly introduce yourself to the viewers?
Yes, I'm Michelle Baker. This is my 20th year teaching, 19 years here in St. Lucie County and at Weatherby Elementary.
All at Weatherby?
And third grade, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love it.
You're part of the fabric of Weatherby.
Yes.
Ms. Ricksecker.
Hi, I am Heather Ricksecker, the proud principal of Weatherby. This is my 22nd year in the district, and I am a St. Lucie County graduate, and I'm just super excited to be back at Weatherby. I grew up down the street, so it's like coming home.
So you know we can't let you get away with just saying that you're a St. Lucie graduate. You have to shout out.
LPA all the way.
LPA,
Go Greyhounds.
Go Greyhounds. All right, all right. So, Ms. Baker, tell me, what did you make of being selected the Teacher of the Year by your peers at Weatherby?
I'm very proud of that, and I was very surprised just because yes, I've been there for many years and everything, but I was just very surprised that my colleagues, picked me for that and everything, just because I'm kind of reserved and quiet and everything, so I wouldn't know that, I shine that much and everything, but it was very surprising, and I was just very pleased.
Cool. So this is year 20 for you?
Yes.
Okay. When we think back to year 1, did you always know that you wanted to be a teacher?
I did. I knew when I was a child that I wanted to be a teacher. But when I got my college education, I went into business at first. And then when I went and I took some other positions and everything, and then my now husband, we were talking one day while we were dating and everything, and I told him my story, and he goes, well, then you need to go for your dream and everything. You'll be wonderful and everything. So I went ahead and I applied, and I went back to UCF, where I got my bachelor's degree, and I got my master's in early education. And I feel like I'm shining because I know my students love me very much, and I care for them, and I put everything into it for their success.
So when you think about the past 20 years, do you think that when you reflect, do you see that there is a teacher or a group of teachers that influence your behaviors with your students today?
Yes, and it's not just some of my colleagues that I worked with, but it's also 2 of my teachers that I had in elementary school, my 2nd and 3rd grade teachers. They really inspired me. They kind of took me under their wing and just helped me out and everything, because I was a struggling reader when I was a child, and they just kind of took me under their wing and just helped me through that too and everything. And now I'm a reading teacher.
Cool.
So I tell my students that story also about, just because you're not good at something doesn't mean that you can't be successful in it.
Yeah, it's like the circle of life, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, Ms. Ricksecker, I want to visit Ms. Baker's class. Tell me, when you walk me down, what would I experience when we walked in the room?
It's honestly like you're transported into a different world when you open the door to Mrs. Baker's room. It's a strong sense of community, but it's a sense of calm and knowing that everything is going to be okay when you walk through the door. And a lot of our students need that sense of calm. She provides routines and structure that the students really thrive on. And she's so loving and nurturing, but she also knows that she has to put the demands on them so that they can become successful. So really, it's just like stepping through a portal into a community of love and support.
So, if I ask you to describe her with 3 adjectives, what would they be and why?
This is only my first year there, but I said a word. I actually asked our assistant principals and the secretary. We all had the same word that came to mind first, and that was passionate. She's passionate about what she does. She's an advocate for her students, and she's inclusive. She often asks for and really supports our ESE students. So passionate, inclusive, and they're lucky to have her, and we're lucky to have her.
Awesome. So I'm a genie, and I have the power to grant you one wish for education. What would your one wish be and why?
Not as much testing, because I just feel like, that doesn't define a child with just like a test score and everything. You have to look at the whole picture and everything like that. So I feel like if we didn't have to have as much testing, that would be wonderful.
Well, we know all of the requirements that are faced on education and educators. What do you see as one of the greatest challenges for education today?
There's many of them. One of the biggest ones, I do feel like, that students that maybe that do not have as much of background knowledge and everything like that, that's hard for them to be successful. But then that's where I step in and other colleagues step in to help them to build that up so then they are successful also.
Ms. Ricksecker, what makes Ms. Baker the perfect candidate for Teacher of the Year?
I think, honestly, the fact that she looks at children as a whole, as more than, like she said, a test score. She really takes into play what she knows about their home life, their personal interests, and puts that into play for them inside of the classroom to increase engagement. And it shows in the outcomes and in their own self-pride when you talk to them and see them succeed, because she looks at them as the whole individual.
So, Ms. Baker, we ask you to bring along with you a prop that kind of describes you as and defines you as an educator. Would you share with us at this time?
Yes, I brought a few letters and everything that I've gotten from students. This one here is from a student who, she's an adult now, and she's in the nursing program at IRSC. And she just told me how genuine and helpful I was with not only her, but her 2 younger brothers and everything. And one of them, he graduated last year, and the other one is now in middle school. And then this one is actually from one of my students this year, that she actually told me that now she loves reading because I've helped her so much this school year already. And then I have a few other ones from former students. This one is, she just said how much she's grateful for how much I support her and my kindness and my wise words of wisdom and how I inspire her and everything. So I brought just a few letters to show.
As Teacher of the Year, you may have to take on a brand new and counsel, encourage a new teacher. What would your advice be to the new teacher?
That I would say just take one day at a time, or even sometimes day by day, minute by minute, hour by hour, just depends. But flexibility is very key to success. Just knowing that you may have the lessons planned out, or you may have something in your mind that you think is going to go like this, but then just flexibility, knowing that something could change. Like, we could have a fire drill, or something like that, or just anything. Like, there could be, one of your students isn't there that needed to be there on a test day or something like that. So just flexibility is our #1 priority with this.
So, Ms. Ricksecker, tell me, is there anything that you have not shared with us that you want our viewers to know?
Honestly, I mean, the letters that Mrs. Baker brought really are a testament to what students experience in her class. When parents are enrolling their kids and they're like, oh, my teacher was, not that I'm saying that we're older, but they're always looking forward to going back and visiting Mrs. Baker. And every parent that has come, or every former student who has come and visited, they look for Miss Baker. They all say the same thing. She made them feel loved. She made them feel valued, and it made all the difference for them. So really, it's just an honor to get to work with her, and I know my entire Weatherby family is blessed that she's a part of our staff.
So, Ms. Baker, we're going to wrap it up. I want you to leave our viewers with the answer to this question. What inspires you as an educator?
The students. They inspire me because I want to make sure that they are the best that they can be, and they inspire me every day, and that's why I come in early, just to get everything ready so I know that they can also depend on me, and I inspire them to also do their best, and they can reflect that.
Ms. Ricksecker, Ms. Baker, thank you both for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Congratulations on
Thank
being
you.
Weatherby's Teacher of the Year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Joining us at this time from Westgate K-8 School, their wonderful Teacher of the Year, Miss Wendy Todd. Welcome.
Thank you.
She's brought along with her my very dear friend, the proud principal there, Mrs. Ingersoll. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
We're excited every time we get a chance to do the show because it lets us introduce some of our administrators and some of the dynamic teachers to our regular viewers. With that said, would you please briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
I'm Wendy Todd. I was born and raised in St. Lucie County. I graduated from Fort Pierre Central in 2004. I began my teaching career in 2008, and this is my 18th year in education.
Wow. We are excited again because we love it when homegrown come back to work in the system. I think you are probably the 8th or 9th person that I've spoken to that's homegrown, and that's exciting to us. Mrs. Ingersoll, introduce yourself, please.
Well, I am Jennifer Ingersoll. I've been in St. Lucie County working with the school for 20 years. I am not homegrown, but I am a Floridian from Orlando, and I've worked at a number of different schools and been the principal at Westgate for the last 2 years.
Great. Again, to both of you, welcome to the show. So, Ms. Todd, tell me, what did you make of being selected the Teacher of the Year for Westgate?
Well, to be honest with you, I was in shock. I work with a superb group of educators, so for my colleagues to nominate me for recognizing my hard work that I put into the school was just, it was an amazing feeling.
Cool, cool. Have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
I always knew I wanted to work with kids. When I was about 17, I thought I wanted to go into elementary ed, so that was my original major. But then when I did field work for my degree, I realized that I was made for exceptional student education. So that's when I changed my major and pursued that avenue.
When you think about your work with your students every day, do you think that there is a teacher or a group of teachers that you might pattern your behaviors after?
Yes and no, because I think everybody deals with situations a little bit differently. I try to be a resource for teachers in the classroom and their paras and their behavior techs. I try to be a resource and play off of their personality traits, which will help them be better versions of themselves instead of mirror what I would do.
So tell me, what is your most enjoyable part of teaching?
Interacting with the kids, hands down.
Interacting with the kids?
Absolutely.
So, Ms. Ingersoll, you have the opportunity to see this interaction every day. Share with us what you experience when you see Ms. Todd with those students.
You know, I think one of the things that really stands out, as a teacher on special assignment, she has a diverse day. You know, you never know where Wendy Todd might be, but where you can find her every morning at 9:05 is standing at the gate welcoming kids into the school. So I think it just stands out how many students she knows. I mean, I'm telling you, it's like every student plus parents who have walked up to the gate, she knows their names. She might have a special, you know, fist bump or comment about their haircut, whatever. She knows them. And that's a really special thing to see and to come into school and have Ms. Todd there to greet you.
Describe Ms. Todd for me with 3 adjectives and tell me why you've chosen those 3.
So I chose compassionate. She's super compassionate. She is very attentive. She pays attention to them. She knows what's happening across the campus, and wholehearted. I've never seen her approach anything she's done on our campus without diving headfirst, giving it her all.
So, Ms. Todd, tell me, when did you first fall in love with teaching?
As much as I would love to say it was the first day in the classroom, it wasn't. I was 22, I was pregnant with my first son, and I was there from 6:30 in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. I think when I truly fell in love with teaching was when I became a mom. And I realized that I had the privilege of having other people's children in my care. I think that's when I really fell in love with teaching and shaping kids for the future.
Yeah, it wasn't my first day either, so I agree with you. I remember it, but yeah.
I would love that to be my answer, but
no, right?
I have to be honest.
So there are many challenges facing education today. What do you see as one of the greatest challenges facing us?
Well, I think specifically now, in the financial crisis of the country, I think the limited resources for kids and for educators trying to give the top level education and support and resources to kids is an issue at the moment.
I'm going to grant you one wish for education.
Okay.
Knowing all that you know, the time that you spend as an educator, what would your one wish be?
My wish is that I could 1,000% guarantee the safety of all students at school every day.
I understand that. I understand that. Ms. Ingersoll, what makes Ms. Todd the perfect candidate for Teacher of the Year?
For me, I feel like as a teacher on special assignment, she takes a lot of leadership roles on the campus, very diverse job position, but primarily her role is obviously to work with special education students. So I think that brings a unique perspective to the leadership table that I so appreciate, to always have that inclusivity in mind in all the decisions that we make, from the leadership down to the individual child. Her advocacy in all of those spaces is an important thing, and it makes a huge difference in the daily lives of all of our students.
So, Ms. Todd, I asked you to bring along a prop with you that kind of describes you and your day, you as an educator. Share that with us at this time.
Okay. Well, my first prop is an adaptive letter from one of my self-contained students for teacher appreciation. And it says, "Dear Ms. Todd, happy," and it has the sign for happy, Teacher Appreciation Week. You are caring. Thank you for being friendly. and then love one of the students. So this to me, just, I have it hanging up on my wall, and the student has limited communication skills. So for them to pick me as not being their classroom teacher, for her to pick me to write a letter to, it just reminds me why I'm there every day, and it brings me joy.
So, Ms. Ingersoll, is there anything else that you might want to share with us about Ms. Todd?
We've talked a lot about her interactions with students, and it's huge. But I did say as well that she greets parents when they come to those gates. She does develop strong relationships with those parents. She has to spend a lot of time talking on the phone. We try to be very individualized in our care for all of our students. So having an advocate who is talking to families and making sure that we're hearing them and bringing their needs to the table to do our best to service all of our students. So that's one thing that I can't undersell. She does a great job working with families, and then obviously being in and out of everyone's classroom. She is a great, she's a great not only role model for all of us on campus, but also develops strong relationships with all of our staff members.
So, Ms. Todd, let's wrap it up. You are the ambassador for education at Westgate. You have an opportunity to speak with parents, with teachers, to share. What's your message?
My message is that every day we give kids top-level education. We know your children, we love your children, and we are so excited to see them every day.
Ms. Ingersoll, Ms. Todd, thank you both for joining us and sharing with us and letting us introduce you to our viewers. And congratulations on being Westgate's Teacher of the Year.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Pleasure to welcome all the way from Parkway Elementary School, Miss Jacqueline Suelo-Lowers, who's a wonderful Teacher of the Year at Parkway. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
She's brought along my dear friend and the proud principal there, Dr. Thelma Jackson. Doc, welcome.
Thank you, Doc.
It is a pleasure to have this opportunity to celebrate you and your selection as Teacher of the Year. And to help us get that started, would you please briefly introduce yourself to our viewing audience?
Okay, so my name is Jacqueline Suelo-Lowers. I am a proud teacher of 4th grade ELA at Parkway Elementary School. I am from the beautiful island of Jamaica. I have 25 years of teaching experience. Most of my teaching years of experience is back home in Jamaica, but I do have 3 years of teaching experience here in Florida. I am a mother of 2 beautiful boys, and of course the bonus daughter from my husband. I'm married. And yes, I'm here today. I'm happy to be here.
And we're happy to have you as well. Dr. Jackson, introduce yourself, please.
Okay, I'm Thelma Jackson. I'm in my 32nd year of service in public education, year 5 in St. Lucie Public Schools. Definitely the most proud principal at Parkway Elementary and a graduate of the Florida State University.
So, Ms. Suelo-Lowers, tell me this. How did you feel when you first found out that you were the Teacher of the Year for Parkway?
I was actually extremely surprised, but it was an overwhelming honor, and of course I was humbled by it because I know of the hard work that I put in and the dedication to my students, and also the commitment that I made throughout the year. Also, but even though I was so happy to get this opportunity, it's not about me only. It also includes my students who have worked along with me, and also their families, and also my colleague who has helped me throughout the year in terms of mentoring and so forth. So, of course, I was really, really, really excited.
Cool, cool. Tell me, 25 years in, have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
No. I knew after a while, though, because I started growing up in the Caribbean. We had the opportunity of using our parents' room, and on the dresser, they were like bottles, and I would go outside and I would use a stick and I would impersonate being a teacher. And so from that age, I kind of had an idea that I wanted to be a teacher until I became a substitute teacher. And then I, get an opportunity to be in the classroom, observing students and the milestone that these students were making. And then I was like, oh, I think this is something that I would love to do.
So when you came to that realization, do you think you patterned your behaviors as a teacher after one of the teachers that you might have had, or a group of teachers you might have had?
I think I did initially because I was influenced, or should say further influenced, by my godmother. She's now deceased. She was a teacher for 30-something years, and I so wanted to be her. She was like my role model, my mentor, someone who believed in me. And I would observe her. I would also help her at home to mark papers and talk to her about teaching and all of that. So,
great. Dr. Jackson, you have the opportunity to watch Ms. Wells Lowers in her classroom every day. Share with me what I might experience.
So, Ms. Sewell Lowers' classroom is a page right out of HGTV. It blew me away when I first saw it. It's painstakingly decorated, manicured, and ready for students. The centers, the anchor charts, there's so much that's inviting and invigorating in our classroom, but you also are going to hear a lot of passion and grit, that the Caribbean fire. So it's never a lull or a dull moment. Lots of academic language, lots of turn and talk, encouraging students to talk about what they're learning, and a lot of push, because like I said, her life story, her passion is heartfelt and it exudes everything. So grit is the bottom line for everything.
So since you started describing, I'm going to ask you to choose 3 adjectives and share with us why you've chosen those 3.
So compassionate, again, her journey, her personal story is something that draws her to kids, and kids are drawn to her because they know she's beyond authentic. You get the real deal. So compassionate, inspiring. When you get to know Ms. Sewell Lowers, you don't pity yourself. You pull yourself up by your bootstraps and you say, if she can endure what she has done to rise to this level, I have no excuses. So those are gone out of the door. And impactful. Ms. Sewell Lowers connects with the students, her colleagues, and as a team leader, she pushes to know her families. She pushes to reach down to 3rd grade to make sure they're ready for 4th grade, and she keeps a check on her students who are now 5th graders.
Great. So tell me, there are many challenges education faces because of everything that's going on around us. What do you feel is one of the greatest challenges facing education?
Okay, one of our greatest challenges that faces education is resource. As an ELA teacher, sometimes for us to meet, the standard and teach it to the standard, sometimes it's hard to find those resources. Unlike math, where there are a lot of resources, ELA can be challenging to find some of those resources. Outside of that, though, the good thing is that as an innovating teacher, we make it work in finding those resources to ensure that we are actually teaching to the standard and the requirement, providing that rigor for the student and also that meaningful and impactful learning.
So if you could change one thing, what would that one thing be?
That one thing would be, as I stated before, finding ways of getting those resources, and also providing training for teachers, additional training, should say, for teachers. And so not every teacher outside there is like a Sue Lowers, so finding ways, creative ways of coming up with materials that could impact learning, especially when it comes on to small group teaching for students.
Dr. Jackson, what makes Ms. Sue Lowers the perfect candidate for Teacher of the Year?
She is what I would reckon when I transitioned from secondary teaching to elementary. She's a content connoisseur. So she loves reading, she loves literacy, and she loves teaching it to kids. And she's authentic. She's been where students and teachers, she has had some incredible challenges. So she brings that true experience and I keep saying grit to the table. Like, you cannot be in her presence and not want to learn more about what you're teaching and not want to pull more out of kids because of her experience. And that's what makes her the perfect candidate.
The perfect candidate. So I ask you to bring along with you a prop that kind of describes you, defines you. Share with us your prop at this time, please.
Okay. So here I have a photo of my family. And if you notice right here, I put a sticker right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's my son right here. Here I have my daughter, my son, my husband, and myself. But I will speak particularly to this son. Now, my son here is 22 years of age. He has severe cerebral palsy. He is my reason. He's my grit. He's my passion. He's my everything that inspires me on a day-to-day basis to walk into my classroom and see every student as important. I have a passion for ESE students because I navigate my world through the eyes of my son. If my son can make baby milestones with all the challenges that he faces, which teaches me the patience, and which also teach me that students will come, and it's not where they start, but how they finish. This is what keeps me going. And he also helps me to realize the importance of celebrating every win. Mm. If it's even just a simple step, it's a win. Mm. And this is where my passion as a teacher, my determination as a teacher, me treating all students in my classroom as equal as a teacher, celebrating the diversity of all my students as a teacher, this is where my passion lies. This is my why.
I was going to ask you what inspires you, but I think I already know. Yeah. I think I already know. So let's wrap it up by saying you are the ambassador for education at Parkway Elementary. You will have an opportunity to speak with school board members, the superintendent, community members. What's your message?
Okay, so my message would be, my message to the superintendent would be trusting teachers, respecting all teachers, and trusting and respecting in the sense that as educators, we give it our all. And sometimes when we walk in that classroom, we walk on our passion inside that room. We stand on our passion. And if a teacher like Ms. Sue Lowers, who has a child like this to deal with, I walk in feeling each and every one of my students, their pain, their happiness, their potential, their joy, everything. I feel it, I live it. My classroom is my home. It's my home away from home. My students are my family. It's not just a classroom for me, it's a learning environment and a family that bonds together, that works together, that strives together. And so as teachers, we deserve that respect.
Well, thank you for ensuring that students win all the time in your presence. Thank you to you and both Dr. Jackson for joining us, and congratulations on being Parkway's Teacher of the Year.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Excited to welcome from St. Lucie Elementary at this time, Mr. Dakota Davis, who is their wonderful Teacher of the Year. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
He's brought along the fantastic principal at St. Lucie Elementary, Miss Kathy Potenza. Welcome.
Nice to see you, Dr. Perry.
It is a joy to have this opportunity to share with both of you and to celebrate your selection as the Teacher of the Year at St. Lucie Elementary. We have many viewers that tune in regularly, and we love having this opportunity to introduce to them to some of the brightest and the best, those teachers that are making a difference here in St. Lucie Public Schools with our students. With that being said, would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yeah, so my name is Dakota Davis. I'm currently a 5th grade science teacher at St. Lucie Elementary. I moved here about 4 years ago from Ohio and jumped straight into the classroom and got started. So happy to be here.
Well, we're so glad that you jumped here from Ohio. It's really cold up there.
Yes.
Yeah. Ms. Potenza, introduce yourself to our viewers.
So, hi, my name is Kathy Potenza, proud principal of St. Lucie Elementary. This is my 9th year in St. Lucie Public Schools, my 33rd year in education. So I'm
33rd. She's a baby. She's a baby. Thank you again to both of you and welcome to the show. Tell me, what was it like when you found out that your peers had selected you as their Teacher of the Year?
It was just an honor, a super humbling experience that I have colleagues that think highly enough of me to vote for me and put me up for this award. So just an honor and just makes being a part of St. Lucie Elementary that much more special.
Have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Yes and no. I kind of took the road less traveled to teaching. I didn't do it traditionally. I started when I was pursuing higher education, I started in early childhood education and then kind of changed my mind a few times and ultimately made my way, back to what I would say is my calling or my passion. So definitely kind of comes full circle. Life comes full circle and you experience things and just an amazing opportunity to get to step into a classroom every single day.
Well, let me say, because of your selection, I'm glad that you listened to your calling.
I am too.
When you think about your time as an educator, do you think you pattern yourself, your behaviors, through the influence of someone that was a teacher for you?
Most definitely. So funny enough, my 6th grade science teacher, Miss Adkins, was just the teacher that took time with me to get to know me, kind of break down the walls that I had put up for myself as a young student. And there were times that I felt out of place at school and felt like I really didn't know what to do or how to be successful. And she invested in me and connected me with people and mentored me and really just paved a way through middle school into high school, and we still stay connected to this day. So I can definitely credit her with that.
So we're going to take a break right now. I'm going to ask that you look in camera 1,
Perfect.
You look in camera 2, I'm going to look in 3, and on the count of 3, we're going to say, thank you, Ms. Atkins. Ready?
Perfect.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Ms. Atkins.
We wouldn't have you if it was not for her, so thank you again.
Yes, definitely.
So, Ms. Potenza, tell me this. What would I experience if I stopped by St. Lucie Elementary and we visited the classroom? What would I find Mr. Davis and his children doing?
So in 3 short years at St. Lucie Elementary, he is just a model teacher. Science is alive. Ms. Atkins would be hugely proud. Kids are engaged on hands-on learning. He creates a classroom environment where learning is facilitated. He's equity-driven. There is not a student in his classroom that is not engaged in the learning process. He serves as a model for other teachers. He's presented for principals within the district. And it's just an environment of learning. It makes science fun. And Dakota has just really turned our science program around at St. Lucie Elementary and can serve as a model for schools across the district.
So, Mr. Davis, when did you first fall in love with teaching?
I would say from the minute that I stepped into the classroom, it's definitely one of the most, or not one of the most, the most challenging profession that I've ever been a part of. But just getting to step into a classroom every day and be a leader of students and to teach them things so far beyond, just science content, and just to be a consistent person that shows up for them daily is definitely, it's just an honor and a privilege that I get to do something like that every single day. So definitely very thankful.
So what's the most enjoyable part of teaching for you?
I think it's the relationships, right? Getting to see that student be the first person that they see that morning when they walk into the school, and they give you that big smile and they give you that hug, or maybe be that person that a student comes and talks to when maybe they're struggling with something, and they have that trust in their teacher to come and be open and just have that conversation and accept that guidance or accept those words of wisdom coming from somebody outside of their immediate family. I think that's probably my favorite part, is just to be able to lead and guide them and help them to become, or to reach their full potential.
Awesome. Ms. Potenza, describe him for me with 3 adjectives and tell me why.
I would say empowering, relentless, and probably selfless. Empowering because mediocrity is not acceptable in Mr. Davis's classroom. All students, regardless of where they grow up or their circumstances, are empowered to learn and become learners and lovers of science. Relentless because he just has a passion for everything that he does. He does things outside of the classroom, sponsors groups of dads and mentors groups of dads. He's a new dad himself, and monthly meets with an all-pro dad group to ensure that they are connecting with families and connecting with their students in school, as well as science work outside of the classroom. He has lunch and learns with his kids, brings kids back to the classroom to, again, build those relationships with kids, and just selfless. Dakota is just such a giving person. No matter what we ask of Dakota, from helping us with MLK floats to science club to science fair, he's just really a selfless person, and I think he really is humble in his description of himself. Just 4 short years ago, he was a mailman and not a teacher, and just really has been a model for our entire school and for the district.
So tell me, when you think about the field that you're calling, what are you most hopeful for education?
I'm hopeful that we can inspire kids to find a reason to pursue education, find or help them to just to guide themselves, through life, and to think back to the experiences that they had with us as their teachers, and hopefully use some of those things that we were able to present to them, some of that advice that we were able to give them, and carry that with them to become successful members of society someday.
We ask you to bring with you a prop that kind of describes you as an educator. Share with us your prop at this time and why it's so meaningful.
So I brought just a simple circuit kit that I use within my classroom, and obviously I'm a science guy, so this is the content that I'm teaching my kids, and I think it's very important, right, that they have the discipline and have the wherewithal or the drive to learn. But also, I think why I chose this prop is just when you finally have a student that makes that connection, right, or they're struggling, right, and it's kind of like putting the wires together. It's kind of like completing that circuit, right, where they have that aha moment. And I think that, going back to what's my favorite part of teaching, I think that would be a close second, because just seeing a student that maybe was down on themselves or maybe didn't think that they could do it, and then all of a sudden they have that aha moment and that light bulb comes on. I think that's why I brought the prop and why it's meaningful to me.
So fitting. Ms. Potenza, what makes Mr. Davis the perfect candidate for Teacher of the Year?
He's just so well-rounded. He's a team player when it comes to his colleagues. He puts students first. His classroom is just alive and is a model for everyone that walks through it. It's enjoyable just to go and sit in his classroom, right? It just brings me immense joy to sit there and just see the spark, as he mentioned with his circuit analogy, the spark in the students' learning. They want to be in his classroom. I reflect on our 5th grade graduation at the end of last year that we had at Fort Pierce Central High School, and when Mr. Davis was introduced, even the parents, like the resounding applause for him. He's just a school favorite, and not because he lets kids off the hook, he just takes the time to learn students. Most recently, we got a new student who just moved to us from Miami-Dade, and she had a rough transition. You know, she was just moving into St. Lucie Elementary about a week before holiday break, and she had an interaction with another adult on campus, and I remember this distinctly. I saw Dakota at the picnic table during lunch, sitting with her, and just kind of trying to break her down in the sense of let her know that she's going to be okay, right? This transition that she was struggling with, and that's just common, right? I see Dakota all the time, just sitting with kids and talking with kids and getting to know the kids. A lot of times he'll tell me that it has a lot to do with his own personal upbringing, and the difference he makes in our community and for our kids at St. Lucie Elementary is what makes him the best candidate for our Teacher of the Year.
So I just heard from the superintendent, and he told me that I could grant you one wish for education. What's your one wish?
That's a tough one. I would say, you stumped me with this one.
One wish for education. Knowing all that you know, experiencing all that you experience with your students, your path, what would you wish for education?
I think one thing that speaks volumes to me is just seeing students for who they are, for what they bring to the table, right? Maybe, I wouldn't say less pressure from testing, because testing does put a lot of pressure on our students, and it holds them accountable, but at the same time I see a lot of anxiety and things in the classroom that also holds them back. So I would say finding a balance, finding a way to ensure that all students have the ability to show their potential and show that they're capable, right? More so than just, you know, holding them accountable to a certain test score at the end of the year. I think that would be definitely something that could empower and encourage students to just keep going every day and just keep showing up and just keep being the best version of themselves every day when they walk into the school.
Well, thank you for answering the call. Thank you for answering the call. Thank you both, Ms. Martins and Mr. Davis, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And congratulations on being St. Lucie Elementary's Teacher of the Year.
Thank you so much. It's an honor.
Thank you,
Yes.
Dr. Perry.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
It is our pleasure to welcome to our Teacher of the Year Spotlight Show, all the way from Port St. Lucie High, Ms. Jasmine Shepard, the wonderful Teacher of the Year at PSL High. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
She's brought along my dear friend, the proud principal there, the dedicated, hardworking principal there, Miss Nicole Talise. Talise, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dr. Perry.
It is a pleasure for us to have this opportunity to share with our viewers some of the dynamic teachers and administrators that we have here in St. Lucie Public Schools. With that being said, briefly introduce yourself to our regular viewers.
My name is Jasmine Shepard. I've been at Port St. Lucie High School for 5 years now. Very happy to be there as the marketing teacher. And I also started, this is my second year at Mosaic Academy as the cybersecurity teacher there as well.
Great, great. Talise, would you introduce yourself for our viewers?
Sure. I'm Nicole Talise, proud principal of Port St. Lucie High School. I think this is my 24th year in education, 9 years as a teacher of students with disabilities, and then 15 years at the middle school and high school level.
Great, great. Again, to both of you, welcome and thank you so much for joining us. So tell me, what was it like when you first found out that you had been selected by your peers as the Teacher of the Year at Port St. Lucie High?
It is always an honor. Our school, I feel like, is really unique. We're a smaller high school, and we're really a family. So it was an honor for me to be recognized by my colleagues that, hey, I deserve to be that Teacher of the Year. But honestly, we all help each other. So I'm not who I am without them. So it was really humbling and very awesome that they thought of me for this nomination.
Have you always known that you wanted to teach?
No. I knew I wanted to make a difference. I love that feeling of giving back to people and giving back to a community. But when I was little, I had no idea what I wanted to be. I went from a vet to a doctor to a lawyer. I'm not that great at arguing, and I'm not that great with anything medical. So it was a surprise to me. But once I got into management roles in my adulthood and going to college, I realized that teaching was for me.
So as you reflect back on the time that you've been an educator, do you think you pattern your behaviors after a teacher or a group of teachers? Or was there someone that influenced how you behave each day?
My biggest influence as a teacher is probably, at the time he was the principal of my high school, Corey Lambie. He's now the superintendent there. He's retiring this year, I just found out. But my biggest thing is the students are going to learn from anybody who they have a connection with. And I saw him day in, day out, just like Miss Talise. She's there, she's present. And when you see somebody in an education position that are there to try to help people be better, when they're present, that influences people to do something. And it's really cool that my students get to learn business when they see that I show up and I'm there for them.
Share with me, what's the most enjoyable part of teaching for you?
The relationships. Miss Talise knows my kids are my kids, and I always say every year I get lucky, and it really, after some reflection, it makes me think that I'm not really lucky. It's just I genuinely make those relationships. So today was really cool to see everybody after break, and I know that they were excited to see me too, and it's just a really good classroom environment.
So, Ms. Talise, you have an opportunity to watch Ms. Shepherd every day. Bring me into her room. Share with me what I might experience.
Okay. Well, what's really special about Jasmine's room, number one, just the learning environment itself. She's been meticulous in setting up an environment that is conducive to learning, but also really supports collaborative group work, because that's what you're going to see every time you go in there. It's not about her standing up delivering a marketing lesson. It's going to be kids in groups, designing their own learning, really getting engaged and really being leaders of their own learning. And it's really exciting when you come in there. It's them at the front of the class, not Jasmine at the front of the class.
So, describe her for me. 3 adjectives. Yes, only 3. I see you looking at me. Only 3. Yeah, I know you, don't I? and share with me why you've chosen those 3.
Okay. I would say first, caring, and probably because what she just described, I feel like that really identifies who she is and why she's such a good teacher, is she cares so much about the students, not just about the course that she's teaching. It's about the kids, the individual kids that she teaches. Then I would say dedicated, because she does a billion things beyond her role as a teacher that really impact kids and our campus, and it takes a lot of her time, ridiculous. And then last, I would say probably innovative, because she's really creative, making sure that the learning is authentic, but also beyond there. If she sees something that can be better, she's going to dive right in and make it better. Or if she sees something that we're lacking campus-wide, she's going to get her kids involved to create what we're lacking. So she's really just innovative in her approach to teaching.
So let me push you to be a little more creative. If you had to define or describe Ms. Shepherd with a hashtag, share with me what your hashtag would be and why.
I would say that teacher. She is that teacher. She's that teacher that believes in kids. She's that teacher that captivates kids. She's that teacher that goes beyond. She's that teacher. 5 years from now, when you ask a person, who was it that influenced you? It's going to be that teacher. It's going to be Ms. Shepherd.
Cool. So let me have some fun with you. I'm going to throw some things out, and I want your first response, okay?
Okay.
Favorite food?
Meatloaf.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm there with you. A favorite restaurant?
That one's hard. Anything with sushi.
Okay. Yeah. Favorite music?
Probably country music.
Okay. Favorite song?
Right now, it's The Fall by Cody Johnson.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Space Jam.
Okay. Favorite sports team?
Green Bay Packers.
Why?
Go Pack, go.
Okay. We won't argue that point. Blowing it right. Okay. What about a favorite motivational saying or quote?
Any day I wake up is a good day.
Okay. Great day. So I ask you to bring along with you a prop that kind of describes you as an educator. Share that with us at this time, okay?
So my prop had to be preserved. So it's in a picture frame now, but About 8 years ago, I was trying to figure out what I really wanted to do with a career. I was in retail management, and I just wanted to do more. I just felt like I wasn't doing enough. And I was working, with nonprofits and all that, but it wasn't giving me what I wanted to make a difference. So I was talking to my boyfriend at the time, now husband of 5 years, and I was frustrated, and I didn't know what to do. And he wrote this note to me, and he wrote it to me on my break at work, and it says, whatever it is that you find yourself doing, make the most of it. And that really resonated with me, because every day you want to come in and you want to make a difference. So I come in every single day and I try to make the most of it, because you never know what a kid's going through. So you want to make sure that you're making the most of your day, as well as, of course, giving them some good marketing education, but to always make the most of what you're doing. And look at where I am.
Cool. Yeah, look at it. Look at you. Ms. Talise, what makes Ms. Shepherd the perfect candidate for Teacher of the Year?
That's a good question. I would say, we have so many phenomenal teachers in St. Lucie County, but I would say what makes her the perfect candidate is both the wide range of her impact and then the depth. She does not only things, it's not just the 150 kids she has in her marketing class, she mentors new teachers. So every 150 kids that new teacher has gets a better education because of her efforts. She does the DECA Club, she works with HOSA, she works at SGA. So her impact is just so far-reaching on our campus. She does professional development for our teachers, plus district-wide CTE. So I would say the width, it's so many kids, and then the depth. I've watched her with students who are really challenged, and she just goes so deep with them. She inspires them. She helps them to turn it around, and they've gone from kind of aimless and not knowing what they wanted to do to really focused, having positive experiences, and knowing that they can be successful in the future. And I've watched it over and over the course of our 4 years. So I would say that's what makes her the perfect.
So let's wrap it up. Leave us with what inspires you.
What inspires me is seeing kids show up every day, even if I know that they don't necessarily want to. I don't have to be a student's favorite class, but I know that, like I said before, our school is a family. So knowing that our teachers are making enough of a difference, that our kids are showing up and they're present and intentional in their learning, that helps me feel like I'm a success every day. I don't think it's a certain benchmark, because you should always try to be better. So every day that happens and we're making the most of it, that's how I feel successful.
Thank you for making the most of it every day for those students and being that teacher. Thank you both for joining us and sharing with us, and congratulations on being Port St. Lucie's Teacher of the Year.
Thank you so much.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
St. Lucie West K-8 School is the wonderful Teacher of the Year there, better known as Mr. Tyler Evans. Welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me.
He's brought along someone that's really near and dear to my heart, the fantastic principal at St. Lucie West K-8, Mr. Joel Lazo. Mr. Lazo, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us, Dr. Perry.
It is a pleasure to see both of you and to celebrate your selection as St. Lucie West K-8's Teacher of the Year. We have this show so that we can introduce some of our fantastic administrators, but most of all, some of our fantastic educators to our regular viewers. With that, would you briefly introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. I'm a Port St. Lucie graduate. I went to Port St. Lucie High School, go Jags. I was a Promise is a Promise recipient, and I have been teaching for 5 years. 2 of those years, music education. This is my 3rd year in math.
Great, great, great. Mr. Lazo, introduce yourself.
Good, thank you so much. Joseph Lazell, proud principal at St. Lucie West K-8. This is year 25 for me in education, 10 years as an administrator, and year number 4 at St. Lucie West K-8. And Mr. Nevin and I have something in common. We are both graduates of Port St. Lucie High School. Let's go Jags.
Well, you know, we are always excited when we do the Grow Your Own and our students come back to then be educators in the area. I'll let you in on a secret. I've been interviewing all day yesterday and today, and I think that you might be the 6th or 7th Port St. Lucie High School grad that is also the Teacher of the Year. So this is the year of the Jags, for being selected as Teacher of the Year. So tell me, what did you make of being selected the Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie K-8's Teacher of the Year?
I was thrilled. I was very excited to be recognized by staff. Also very confused because I walk around campus feeling like it's a huge campus. There's so many staff members, like I'm a ghost, but I was fortunate to be recognized by them. They see my accomplishments and what I do for the community. So I'm very happy to have this Teacher of the Year title.
Have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
No, just growing up, I fell into it in high school. It felt natural. Going through elementary, middle school, and high school, I just seemed to have peers gravitate towards me to be that peer tutor. And it just felt natural to me to give that back later on.
So do you think when you look at your time as a teacher that you were influenced by a previous teacher or group of teachers that you kind of pattern your behaviors after?
Sure, yeah. So I was kind of up and down the East Coast, all elementary, middle school, and high school before settling here in Port St. Lucie. So it's kind of an amalgamation of all those teachers. But one teacher that stands with me is retired teacher, Mr. Mack, Mr. John McGallagher. He took me under his tutelage when he heard I wanted to be a music ed major and gave me those leadership opportunities to expand myself.
Oh, good old Mr. Mack. Yeah. So, Mr. Lazo, you get an opportunity to watch Mr. Evans work every day. Share with us what we might experience should we go in the classroom.
Well, one of the experiences that you're going to have is Mr. Evans' classroom is one of our demonstrated classrooms that we have at St. Lucie West K-8. We bring in a plethora of teachers into his classroom to see one of his techniques that he has mastered so well, which is aggressive monitoring with students, and then applying a prescribed lesson for what they need on the spot from what he sees that they have going on in the classroom. So you're going to see a true art in teaching and a technician as well, very meticulously planned and very thorough with his processes that he has in his classroom to make sure that he is reaching all of his students each and every day.
So describe him for me then with 3 adjectives and share with us why you've chosen those 3.
Yes, I would say passion. Mr. Evans comes to my office sometimes and he sits down with me and he was like, let's talk about some data. Let's talk, and we have some great data conversations, great data chats about what he sees going on with his students, and just not his students, for the school. This is why we tapped Mr. Evans to be our math department head this school year, because of his incredible, insatiable desire to want to improve not just himself, but the school in general. So that brings to my next adjective, a team player. And he is truly an example of what a team player, and now looking to take the role of coach in that process, because now he's coaching others in the practice of teaching mathematics at the same level and rigor that he's able to offer his students each and every day. And last but not least, dedicated. Absolutely dedicated. You know, when I think about someone who I can always count on, who is there, that's Mr. Evans. Mr. Evans, I need you to have this go on in your classroom for me, please, at this time. Without question, without fail, I got you, Mr. Lazo. Bring him by. I'll be ready for you guys. That's the kind of adjective that I'd like to use to describe Mr. Evans.
So, Mr. Evans, if you could change one thing in education, what would that one thing be and why?
I think one thing affecting education right now is, as a community, we feel a lot of disadvantages economically, socially, politically, and there's a lot of apathy going around. So I feel that we should take hope back and own that and teach students about intrinsic motivation, grit, resilience, that they can use education as a means of going past these societal pressures to better themselves.
So, Mr. Lizzo, what makes Mr. Evans a great teacher?
Connection with kids. His students absolutely love him. He shared with you that he's been teaching math now for 3 years at St. Lucie West K-8, and he has now moved up in what we call looping with his students. He has looped every single year with his students, and the output of what he's able to provide, not just to our school center, but our community and our student body in general, it just shows his dedication and his work that he provides.
So if you had to describe him using a hashtag, knowing all this you've said already, what would your hashtag be and why?
That's a new one. I like this one, Dr. Perry. Hashtag, Evans, go get it.
Cool.
That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
Evans.
All right.
Hashtag Evans, go get it.
Cool. So, Mr. Evans, we asked you to bring along a prop with you that kind of describes you as a teacher. Share with us your prop at this time.
Yeah, so I brought with me a pin that I got. It's from my university fraternity. This is Kappa Kappa Psi. So they're a college music fraternity, but the main vision of that group is service. So they're meant to serve college bands, and their motto is strive for the highest. So I try to ingrain that every day in my classroom.
Strive for the highest. So what brings you the greatest professional satisfaction every day?
When I see students get that epiphany, that aha moment, and the light bulb happens, they just did something super complex that they did not understand, and all of a sudden they're reinvigorated. They have this confidence, like, wow, I could do this, I could figure it out, even if I struggle at first.
Mr. Lizzo, what makes Mr. Evans a perfect candidate for Teacher of the Year?
As we described earlier to you, Dr. Perry, it's that aha moment, that enlightenment that the students get into their eyes when they finally figured it out. They've struggled in math. I remember the opportunity that I had to interview Mr. Evans for the role. He talked about the reason why I'm switching from music to math is because students need to understand math. And I have a way of ensuring that students understand math. And we are seeing those fruits of his hard work and labor each and every day from our students. So I'm excited about what he brings off to our campus.
Mr. Evans, let's close out. You have been given an opportunity to have one wish granted for education. What would your one wish be and why?
Let's come together as a community of stakeholders and fight this apathy and complacency. Education is not just about academics, it's about hope, dignity, and transformation. So when we work together instead of fighting each other, we can make that happen.
Thank you for striving for the highest to give to your students each and every day. Thank you, Mr. Evans, Mr. Lizzo, for coming and sharing with us. And congratulations on being St. Lucie West K-8's Teacher of the Year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Welcome, Miss Maggie Chopper to our show. She is the wonderful Teacher of the Year over at Treasure Coast High School. And before I go any further, I need y'all to help me say it. Okay, you know I have to do it. Titan born, Titan bred. Yes, Miss Chopper, welcome and congratulations.
Thank you.
She's brought along my good friend, love myself some Brad Lehman. He's the fantastic principal over at Treasure Coast High School. Welcome, Mr. Lehman.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
It is a pleasure to have this chance to speak with you. It gives us the opportunity to share with our regular viewers a peek into the world of some of the dynamic educators that we have as administrators and teachers here in St. Lucie Public Schools. Maybe I should say the A-rated St. Lucie Public Schools.
Absolutely.
With that, Ms. Chapa, would you please briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. My name is Maggie Chapa. I'm the International Business Teacher at Treasure Coast High School. I've been teaching for 20 years. I have multiple degrees, multiple teaching certificates in both Florida and New York. I have multiple industry certifications. I am the founder of Chapa Nation, where students come into the International Business Academy. They run themselves like a business, and it becomes a legacy, a movement. Our classroom is a launch pad. That's Chapa Nation.
Good, great, great. Ms. Lehman, introduce yourself.
Sure. So, like Ms. Chapa, this is my 20th year in education as well. This is my third year at Treasure Coast High School as the principal. Yes, third year. But I've served principal and assistant principal in many schools here in St. Lucie Public Schools.
But this is not your first stint at Treasure Coast, is it?
It is not. I started as a teacher in 2006 when the school first opened. So I was lucky enough to serve there for 8 years, go away, and now I'm back home.
So, Ms. Chapa, tell me this. What did you make of finding out that you have been chosen as Treasure Coast High School's Teacher of the Year?
Amazing, amazing. To really have your peers who see you do the work every single day, to see the impact that your students make, not only in my classroom, the community, our school, and globally, because I teach international business and I have so many students that are across the nation doing Boston's 25 under 25. They're in Seoul, Korea, working at Samsung. They're international. And so for my peers to nominate me is probably one of the top 2 proudest achievements.
I heard you say multiple certifications, degrees,
Correct.
that kind of thing. But have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Actually, no. My mother was a business teacher, so the seed was definitely planted.
Okay.
And she gave me the permission to go run myself like a business. So I spent many years in business, in hospitality, in travel, and in finance. So bringing all of that together, I bring the industry DNA to a classroom. And once I started teaching, I got my degree in my master's in special education, which everyone deserves a special education. And that's what I'm here to do as a teacher, is to provide a special education for every single student to end up being the CEO of their life, the chief financial officer of their life, go get scholarships, all of that. And so my students receive that special education. And when I came into a classroom is when I realized I have such a passion to see students grow and to give the empowerment back to them, because curriculum matters. Let's be real. Curriculum matters, but relationships matter more, and that's what I'm here to do.
So when you look at the time that you spent, the 20 years that you spent, knowing that you have some other things that you bring to the DNA
Correct.
of your instruction, do you think you pattern yourself, or that you were influenced by other educators about that now comes through your behavior with your students?
I think both. I think every day is a learning environment for my students and myself. I learn from them. I learn from other educators. There's been teachers in training from IRC that have been in my classroom, multiple teachers around the district who've come to my classroom, as well as teachers within our school. And so partnering. So I partner with a lot of the CTE teachers and other teachers for competitions, and my students will do the marketing, the business plans, the financials. So partnership and relationship building, again, is the key to everything, and making sure students have relevant learning opportunities.
So, Mr. Lehman, I heard Chapa Nation, I heard DNA, I heard being the CEO, CFO. If I were to visit Treasure Coast High School, you took me to Ms. Chapa's classroom, what am I going to experience?
Well, first you're going to experience authentic learning. She mentioned all of the different, cross-departmental opportunities for kids, but the learning that they do in each class, in her class every single day, they learn leadership development first and foremost, and they take the learning experiences and really influence the DNA of our school. So it's interesting. She used that term because that's what I see the students that get to experience her academy over 3 years. That's what we see in terms of impact.
Describe her for me using 3 adjectives and tell us why you've just chosen those 3.
Wow. So the first I would say is evolutionary. One reason is that she's had to be flexible. She's been in her position at Treasure Coast over 10 years, and her International Business Academy has had to ebb, flow, and evolve with the changing times. And so just being willing to evolve and change and being flexible is certainly a strength of Ms. Choppa's. A second, what I would say, is innovative. She's always on the forefront of professional learning, out there trying to see what she can learn as an instructor to then turn into learning for our Titan students. It's exceptional, the things that she learns and then brings back to our school. And the third is just dedicated. She believes in every student that comes through her doors. And that dedication results in nearly, if not a 100% pass rate on every industry certification that her students take. Over the course of the last 10 years, students have earned over 900 industry certifications that result in ready-to-work opportunities for kids, which is in complete alignment with our school mission and our school focus of making students future-focused and future-ready post-secondary. So those would be the three words that I would use to describe.
So, Ms. Choppa, knowing that you make your students future-ready and you're giving them opportunities for careers with almost 100% pass rate, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing education today?
I think the biggest challenge is that universally, we don't have authentic learning. And when I say that is because relationships are not built correctly. And when students believe that you care, they're going to do whatever they need to do to make you proud of them, and they're going to start having ownership. That ownership, that belief in students, and that I'm never giving up on you, so you need to make sure you're believing in yourself. And even if there's small wins, students need to have small successes. And those small successes are going to be what motivates them to have momentum, to do bigger things. And they're the ones that are the shy kid who's in your classroom who eventually is going to end up leading a team and giving a professional presentation and smiling from ear to ear and high-fiving you like, I just did that, Ms. Choppa. Those are the things that in regular education on a daily basis, we need to make sure that we are authentically giving universal access to students across the board.
Share with me this. What's your favorite food?
My favorite food's lasagna.
Favorite restaurant?
Massey's.
Favorite movie?
Notebook.
Favorite song?
I Hope You Dance.
Favorite sports team?
Any underdog.
That was good.
Thanks.
You snuck that one in.
I did.
What about a favorite quote or motivational saying?
I'm all about be the change you want to see in the world by Gandhi. But a good close second is hustle beats talent when talent doesn't hustle.
Gotcha. Mr. Lehman, what makes Ms. Choppa the perfect candidate for Teacher of the Year?
Well, first, it's a long time coming, and it's well-deserved. The data does not lie in terms of our impact. And, we've talked about Choppa Nation, which essentially is the movement, the energy that her academy has become. But it's taken on a movement of its own, an energy of its own. She hosts an annual alumni event every summer where students from her academy come back and interact. And students are there, current students, past, alumni, graduates, wherever they are in their walks of life. Maybe they're in business, but maybe they're not. But they all stay connected because of one common thread, and that's Ms. Choppa and her experience with her students in our International Business Academy. Choppa Nation.
Choppa Nation. Tell us about your prop. Tell us about your prop.
So, at the end of every senior year, 3 or 4 days before students leave me, I tell them, here's your final project, because everything I do is project-based learning and based on the standards. But this particular project, I pull out this business card and I tell them, through the 3 years that we've been together, every single student needs to now make me a promise that I'm going to hold them accountable. And on this business card, it says, because I said I would. So they're going to write down their promise that just them and myself know. They're going to tuck it away in their dresser, their wallet, whatever. And when they accomplish that, they need to reach out and let me know. But they know as they leave Titan born, Titan bred, that their home is with me, and that when they come back to tell me that they've accomplished that, I'm going to hold them accountable for the rest of their life.
So let's close out. What gives you the greatest career satisfaction?
I truly believe that being able to remain in the classroom at Treasure Coast, where Titan born, Titan bred is the culture that started it, so that Chapa Nation could be a culture, and to impact every single student that has come through the doors. Not give up on them, to give them incredible amounts of belief in themselves. And not only is that what keeps me motivated, and it's the most enjoyable part of my day, my school year, when those alumni come back and they inspire and they mentor, it is everything. The empowerment, I mean, you can feel it in the classroom. So you're more than welcome to come into my classroom anytime, because you'll feel it and you'll be engulfed in Chapa Nation.
Well, thank you both for joining us. Thank you for ensuring that students have an opportunity to reach goals and share them because they said they would. Congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year at Treasure Coast High School. And we might as well do it one last time to close out. Titan born, Titan bred. Wow, what an amazing show. Now, this show was about celebrating the mentors who inspire, motivate, and support our students to become better individuals. Our special program honors those who shape the future. Teachers bring enthusiasm, passion, and nurturing to their students, making a difference in ways they may not even realize. This show was our way of pulling back the curtain to honor those who have gone above and beyond the call of duty, those whose dedication and commitment to the teaching profession deserves our highest praise. This show is our thank you to teachers for their selfless service and to say, job well done. Thank you for joining us as we honor the educators who light the way for a better tomorrow.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.